Start right there. Welcome. This is Lisa Wolfe, and she's putting, we don't get to see our friend.
Oh, here.
Hi. Hi. How are you? We're going to talk about posture today. You've got excellent posture, I can see. Welcome, Lisa. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm so good. Who was that? I've forgotten his name.
Joey.
Joey. Hi, Joey. I'm glad Joey's here. I wish I had Olive here with me. I'm beginning to think I need to bring Olive into the Mystic Studios. Well, I'm so glad that we're finally sitting down to do this. We've been talking about doing a Shift Series interview around your posture program for a little while here, and the time is now. It's becoming so clear that this posture work is not just important for our structural well-being, but it's so important for our overall health and emotional and psychological well-being, but also our spiritual well-being. So I just am thrilled and honored to have you, and would love to invite you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you came to be in the place where you created the posture program.
All right. I was recovering from a chronic illness in which I was laid flat for over a year. And so I started rebuilding my body in the usual sorts of ways with yoga and weight training, and I needed to lose about 50 pounds as well. And I had never been athletic since I was, a pretty small child. So this was a big undertaking. And at a certain point in my weight loss and my working on rebuilding my body, I got stuck. I was getting sick all the time. I was actually pretty depressed as well, but I also could not lose weight. And so I was around the circles of functional movement, and I hadn't been certified yet, but I knew that my back was an issue because it had been for a long time. I had trouble doing yoga. I would hurt myself.
Yeah.
And so I decided that I was going to fix my posture. I couldn't work out. I was too sick to do much of anything. But I could foam roll, and I could stretch, and I could roll around on the floor and just work with my body in that way, not like conventional working out, going to the gym.
Sure.
Just really,
Sure.
And so after a couple of months of this, I went to my volunteer job at my kid's school, and everybody said, "Oh my God, you've lost weight. You've lost 15 pounds. You look great." And I hadn't lost any weight at all, but I had fixed my posture. And shortly thereafter, the weight started coming off again, and I started feeling a lot better, and I stopped getting sick all the time.
Wow.
And so I became a personal trainer and a functional movement specialist. And the clients that I had coming in, my clients were mainly women in their 40s and 50s. And everyone had the same issues. They really couldn't do the exercises that would have benefited them because most of them were professional career women, or just really anybody. But, they're very internally rotated, very,
yes.
They sat a whole lot, they're sedentary. And so I came up with my one-on-one clients with a little sequence that I put them through even before they got to work out. And I taught them to foam roll. I taught them, to stretch the front part of their bodies, and got them into alignment first.
Yeah.
So I did that with enough one-on-ones that I started doing it with my, I put together a workshop with my group classes. And I called it a boot camp, but me, it wasn't a boot camp.
Sure.
So the workshop got really popular, not just with my clients, but just, random people on Facebook who saw my posts.
Yeah.
And people got such extraordinary relief just from, minor tweaks, minor ways of holding their body when they're in the office, doing just a little bit of stretching throughout the day. When they felt a tightness, I would give them, certain things to do. And it was very powerful to me because it was so simple.
Yeah.
so easy, and people just didn't know. And then I also started doing classes for children, and kids came in with afflictions that I was taught in my training were the afflictions of the elderly.
Oh, wow.
Lack of, core rotational strength. These are kids who are on their computer or texting. And so it was
minutes forward. Yeah.
It was horrible. And they were having all kinds of terrible back pain, and they're 10 years old.
Wow.
So, so I knew I needed to get this work out in a bigger way. And so I videotaped the series, and it's, it has everything that I learned about posture and alignment. And what I like best about it is that I had a 70-year-old man who gave me a review recently, and he's very sedentary. He's an online entrepreneur, so he's at his desk all the time. And he said that he had movement that he hadn't had in 20 years. And this was after a few days.
Right.
Of using the program.
Using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I relate to it so much. I mean, from the moment I first heard of the program, it just felt like such a important gap that it's filling for people. I have been a person who's had, what was called terrible posture since I was a little girl. And, sometimes they say it comes on when you're a teenage girl and you start to develop and you're kind of hunching. But for me, it was like 4th, 5th, 6th grade. I always seemed to have my chin forward. And this is obviously before tablets and phones as well. But even at that young age, when they would take me to therapists or physical therapy, they always wanted to work on strengthening my back muscles. And so that persisted, and that belief system in my mind that it was because I was weak and because I needed to build more muscle persisted all the way up into, my 40s here. It was just in the last year and a half that I had my first big aha moment with exactly what you're describing, which was it didn't have to be hard. It didn't have to be working out. And in fact, the more I was building muscle on what was a back that doesn't hold its alignment correctly, the more work it took for me to try to keep my shoulders back because I was building muscles on this curvature. And it was the first time someone said, oh, this isn't a back thing, this is a chest thing. And they brought me through the most gentle stretches in opening up my chest here. And it was like I cried 30 years worth of tears. I cried 30 years worth of carrying this story about bad posture and that it was about weakness or not having worked out hard enough or not being, there's all kinds of things that go along with posture, Lisa, like you're slumping or you're lazy or, all of these perceptions we have of people who have, poor posture. And so when I first heard about your program, I was so excited because I know there are so many others out there who are either dealing with the pain that you're describing or the emotional burden of believing a story that it's unfixable and that they are going to be hunched forever.
Right. And it's just the way that they are built.
Right.
And, what you're describing is when you strengthen muscles that are dysfunctional, right, you are strengthening dysfunction.
Right.
Is what you're doing. Right. And it's insane. I had one client who came in who was, just this statuesque, beautiful woman.
Yeah.
And she had this curvature that scared me when I saw it. And she worked with foam rolling. She worked with me for some period of time. And she came back from the doctor one day and she said, I've gained an inch in height.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't believe it. And I checked with some other people and
wow.
Indeed it can happen. But in her case, she had started slumping because she was very tall, just a beautiful,
try to fit in.
And then she was told that nothing could be done and she was just going to have to live with it. And she was in a business in which she's a creative and she had to use her hands. She had horrible wrist problems. She had to go on disability. And so fixing the alignment of her shoulders and her back and, stretching these things completely changed her life. And it changed her psychologically too, because the act of knowing that there was hope, but straightening up, really, it affects your entire system, right?
Totally.
This
Yep.
is not just a body only thing.
Right.
It's how you present yourself in the world, right?
Yeah.
And it's definitely a heart opening sort of thing, because what you were saying about young girls hunching over, we're protecting our heart center. When we start developing, we don't want people to look. But then that has very deep ramifications
Definitely
on your ability to open yourself to the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when we start talking about recovering from chronic illness or aligning to our true purpose, the very first steps come in that ability to open up and to be vulnerable and to allow ourselves to be seen. And if our physical structure is counteracting any of those, that opening, and then we literally are holding in everything we actually want to be bringing forward.
Well, and the other consideration is the question of what a slumped over posture, what signal your body is sending to your primitive brain.
Yes.
Because your primitive brain produces the hormones, right, to create your equilibrium.
Yep.
And so there is a theory out that the human body has two different states of being. One state of being is springtime, where we're upright, we're getting a lot of sun, we're getting a lot of movement, and your hormones are in a state of burning fat, of optimism, of energy, and so on.
Yeah.
Right? And then the other state is that of winter. And this is a really profound thing, because winter time for our ancestors meant that you were going to be in a cave or a hut, and it was going to be dark. And so the slumped over posture sends the signal to primitive brain that we need to conserve our energy. No.
Okay.
Joey, stop.
Hi, Joey. It's okay.
Trouble.
Hi. So it sends a signal to our primitive brain.
And, you know, as far as primitive brain knows. Okay, hang on just 1 second.
We can edit it, Lisa. It's all good.
Okay.
We're not live.
Here's Annie. Annie's.
Hi, Annie. You didn't get your moment of screen time.
Oh, it's the FedEx guy. They hate the FedEx guy.
Lisa, that trunk behind you is gorgeous.
Oh, I know. I love it.
Wow.
My entire life.
Whoa.
Okay, so I should probably just backtrack.
Yeah, let's pick up somewhere when you're talking about that's sending signals, and then we can edit that piece out.
Okay. Let's see if they're going to stop now. They're very excited. See, when I just walk them, they're like, the FedEx guy is 3 blocks away.
I can hardly blame them. They want to go have some fun. Joey's ears are so precious.
Isn't he funny?
I love him. My sister's husband, they have a huge ranch out in the Central Valley, and he finds dogs all the time. And so they always have to find homes for them or get them into the shelter. But it also means that over the years, they've accumulated a lot of dogs. So they are now on their 6th dog. And when Seal brought this last one home, Jamie said, I'm not naming it. Its name is 6. This is the signal to you. No more. But 6 looks just like Joey. And I just think they're so cute.
They're Chihuahua dachshund.
So cute. I think I might.
I've never liked small dogs, but I'm in love with this one. This one sleeps like a baby with me.
Yeah, that's what Jamie says. She's like, 6 has really moved in and taken over the spots of all the other 5. Well, I said, well, if you ever end up with number 8, clearly 8 is mine. So keep an eye out for 8. I think Olive could handle a little friend.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joey's been really good for Annie because Annie's 12.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, now I have dog hair all over my shirt.
Can't see it. Can't see it. You're all good.
Okay, you need to stop. Do you want me to lock you up? Annie, come here. I think I need to break their little pattern with a treat. All right. So now they're thinking about other things.
Nice.
Okay.
So yes, we can go back to where that is sending a signal to your primitive brain.
Okay. So the way that you hold your body sends a signal to the primitive brain that regulates your hormones. And so with the winter state of being, when you're hunched over, the signal that primitive brain gets is that it's winter time, so we need to conserve fat.
Interesting.
It will give you mild depression because in order to tolerate living in a cave or in a hut where it's dark for several months, you can't be all wanting to go out all the time, right? So mild depression serves us in keeping us inside.
Interesting.
Right? And it sets up a hormonal profile where, you know, you're going to be depressed. You're not going to be able to lose fat. And it's not just the hunched over posture, it's also lack of activity.
Yeah.
And, you know, as far as the primitive brain knows, there's war, famine, pestilence, you know, long winter, who knows what. And so you have to conserve everything and keep the organism safe.
Fascinating. Safety, that's such a big one too. So I know we've touched on a lot of the health benefits, endocrine, mood, weight, but there also is a real connection to our spiritual alignment, to whether we're feeling on path and aligned to who we are on the planet. And in this last couple of minutes, I just want to touch on that piece because you and I both know that we're learning more and more about how our physical posture connects to our spiritual journey. Can you share a little bit about that with us?
Absolutely. One of the features of the human body is that we have a pervasive system, which is the fascial system. And fascia covers all of our organs, all of our tissues, every muscle. It's the connective tissue that essentially connects everything. And what is known about this is that it is actually, God, hey!
Oh, it's so great, Lisa. Joey, you get to sit with us.
He's a bad dog.
Annie, you too. You get to sit with us.
And it's the most complex part, right?
Yep, I know. Did you see my fascia pun? It's fascinating. So bad.
Okay, now glasses are really fogged.
I needed a good laugh today, Lisa. This was perfect. Thank you. My poor little video editor. Hello.
All right. So, no playing, no having fun.
That was the funny part about it, was it was like sheer joy, like sounds of joy. As we're talking about a lot, I mean, the metaphor is just too good. Sorry. Let's start over at the spiritual connection.
Okay. So the spiritual connection is something that I have recently done a lot of work on, because the question of body alignment is one which it has huge spiritual implications because of the way that we are structured. In the posture program, I do a lot of work with helping the fascia, with foam rolling, with massage, with stretching. And the reason for this is that fascia is something that is not talked about a whole lot, but
Right.
it is really important.
Yeah.
It's the connective tissue that covers our organs, it covers our muscles, it covers every single part of our body. If you took away all the meat and the bones and the organs, you would still have a human, and you would see a human standing there. So this fascia is actually a crystalline system. And it is, in fact, a liquid crystalline system which conducts energy throughout the entire body. So when you have poor posture, you have bad habits, you have a system which is not conducting energy properly. And you know, that is, it's so huge. I can't concentrate with these guys doing this. You know what? You guys have got to stop it. Really. Yeah. I let him go because I thought maybe he would be good. No. I feel really bad for your video editor now.
It's all good. It's all good.
Because there's going to be like grumbling in the background.
I'm just going to put right on the webpage with a special appearance from Joey and Annie. It's so good. Our audience is so casual.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you think about the implications of a system which is transmitting your energy throughout your body, right?
Yeah.
That is blocked up, that has adhesions, that there are scar tissues, that there are deformations in that system, then you can do all the spiritual work that you want intellectually.
Yep.
But if you're not connecting the body piece to it,
Yep.
or limiting yourself in your ability to connect, right? And to really have these energies flowing.
Totally. And to allow our innate healing systems to work, our original instructions around how our organs want to work, how us as creative individuals want to work. I think it's so huge. I see so many people who feel that they're stuck in their healing journey or they're stuck in their spiritual journey. And they're doing all, we know what you called the intellectual spiritual work. And they're like, why is it not working for me? So often it's because we haven't done that piece of bringing it into the body. And the fascia and the alignment piece is somewhat the missing piece in my mind.
Well, and the thing is that it's, people have an idea that there has to be such a rigorous program, right? You got
to be hard.
Gym, or you have to start doing yoga 6 days a week,
yes.
something like this.
Yes.
And I know that in my case and many of my clients, even yoga was too much.
Yep. Yep.
What we needed to do is to get our alignment back, to have gentle movements, range of motion movements.
Yep.
That was what set us on the way to
Absolutely.
real healing and being able to do other things. And, you know, there's all sorts of things involved here as well, like the lymphatic system.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, absolutely. So tell us where we can find the posture program and how the program works.
So what I have is 16 videos.
Okay.
And a couple of the videos are educational, talking about posture and hormones. And, you know, I will say it's a pretty mainstream product.
Yeah.
So it doesn't delve into the spiritual, although it does delve into hormones and that sort of thing.
Sure.
And then the instructional videos are short 6-minute videos.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So they're very short. You can learn the exercises really easily. And then there's also written documentation. So once you've learned it, you can either just turn off the volume, or you can just do it from the papers.
Sure.
And so the instructional ones, there are ones that you can do on your mat. There's foam rolling. There's some standing stretches as well. But then there's also 4 videos on posture in circumstances that we're very used to, which is driving, setting yourself up for good posture there, and giving, look at you.
My chin back.
I have that effect on people.
Yes.
And it also gives you just really easy stretches you can do if you're on a long car trip.
Oh, great.
And then there is a series on work, how to set up a workstation, suggestions on breaking up your day so you're not just sitting there all the time.
Great.
It's so destructive.
Right. Well, that's exciting. It's digestible, it's accessible, and creates huge shifts not only in our physical presentation, but in our health and our mental well-being and our spiritual well-being as well. Lisa, at the end of every Shift Series interview, I like to ask the question, what is one thing that anybody could do from wherever they are with whatever resources they have to begin to bring themselves into this kind of alignment? Do you have a recommendation of one thing that someone could do to begin to feel this kind of transformation?
I have these fundamental ones that I do every single day.
Okay.
So it's 3 little components. And one is that, most of us have a forward head posture. And as a result of it, our heads are very heavy. So if your head is not sitting on your neck, if it's like this, it becomes very heavier.
Yes.
And so I have people just bring, and it's not an attractive look at all, right? But it's just retracting the chin and ramping the neck. And from this position, then you're going to drop your chin to your chest.
Ooh, that feels good.
And it's just a very subtle, change from regular old neck rolls.
Yep.
And then just very gently from one side to the other. And then after you've done a couple of these rolls, then you can determine if there's a place in your neck that feels particularly tight. And if there is, you just stay there. And you breathe into it. And you think of melting butter. And I'll tell you, if you could set a timer for, every 30 minutes, just doing that, it makes such an enormous difference in your neck. And it takes, a minute?
Yeah. Oh, I felt a shift even in my solar plexus. Just things really calmed down and my whole kind of nervous system really settled in. So beautiful. Well, just being in your presence and hearing your beautiful voice is so healing, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Lindsay. It's
such a pleasure. And thank you to everyone watching and listening. I really encourage you to go seek out Lisa's work and bring the posture program into your life, purchase it, and begin to use the practices. It really does have this unbelievable ripple effect in bringing you into alignment with all of these different facets of who we are. So thank you again.
I didn't say the website, which is thepostureprogram.com.
Perfect. And we'll put all of the links in your Q&A below as well. All right. So much love. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.